I am Sonee Thompson. I'm here with Dan Birmingham, the man in boxing in Florida. And that's what Keith ended up doing, because I was saying, wow, when I was looking at the fight, who knew what was going to happen in the main event after that?
Yes.
But I kept seeing him back Quintana up, and he could not get away. And that's the exact thing that Guerrero did to take Berto down, because half the fight was on the ropes.
Once Quintana got a taste of Keith's power, I mean, that was a telltale stage. He didn't want any more, so he ran constantly.
That body shot to the liver, what did that do to his,
Paralyzed him, and, took his legs away.
Okay, as Keith moves up into the 150 range, because I don't see too many phone calls at 147.
Actually, we're going down to 47.
Serious?
We took this fight. Keith makes 44, 45 if he wants to. But, we want to fight the Mayweathers. We want to fight the Pacquiaos. We want to fight the big names at 47.
Wow. So you're working you're working on coming in at 147 or around there.
He makes 47 easily. We want Malignaggi. We want Bradley. We want all the belt holders. Or anybody that's remotely close.
So I was going to say, as he moves into, picking and choosing what he's going to do, how is that going to change the sparring partners that are coming into the gym right now?
Well, it depends on, who Al Heyman and HBO propose. I mean, we let Al Heyman work his magic.
Okay.
He is the best manager, bar none, in boxing.
Okay.
There are fighters that want to be with him, are with him, and should be with him.
Guess what my next question was on the list? Tell me how it is working with Al, the hardest working man in boxing.
Al Heyman, they're a joy to work with. If I need anything at all, I call him and it's done. I actually worked against him several times, starting with Taylor when Winky fought Taylor. And that's when Al came on the scene. He was Taylor's manager. And we actually had a few words at the press conference.
Interesting.
But through the years we've become friends, and all the people that work with them, Brad and Sylvia and Marcus and Sam and the whole crew, they're just a class act. They really are.
Tell me, what is the one thing that you're most strict about and you won't compromise on the gym? Because we talked about you being a very hard trainer. And hard not in the sense of, it's not about pounding guys into the ground. That doesn't build a great fighter. It's about
come to the gym every day and work hard.
Show up.
Give it 100% and then some, and you'll get results.
So if a fighter's not here, you're not interested in it.
It's not going to be consistent. There's no sense in even trying to train him. Consistency is what makes you a better fighter. That's if you have the God-given talent. You have to have so much God-given talent. There's a lot of guys that could train their butt off and they're not going to get anywhere.
Sure.
And then there's guys that have that talent and a good work ethic, and those are the guys that move up, like Keith Thurman and Winky and others.
Keith has called out just about everybody who's somebody in the world of boxing. Now, sometimes you can get exactly what you ask for. As hungry as Keith is, are you afraid that he's going to get into the wrong fight, being that hungry?
I believe in Al Heyman.
Okay.
And Al Heyman is going to make the right fights for him to move up the ladder the way he's supposed to. I mean, we can't go from here to here. We got to go step by step. But I feel right now he's ready for a Malignaggi. He's ready for a Bradley.
So regardless of Keith's appetite, Al will set the table.
Yes.
Is that fair?
That's
exactly right. Keith's punches are like, they land like wrecking balls. Literally. That's what I noticed. I mean, I saw it Saturday night, but I really saw it. When you get to sit down and analyze a fight. They literally, I could hear a sound effect on each punch.
Yes.
How is the health of his hands, and what are you doing to preserve that?
Well, punchers keep sore hands. So,
He's heavy-handed.
He is. He has an acupuncturist.
Okay.
He ices his hands.
Okay.
He has a doctor that takes care of his hands. And he takes the proper rest in between.
So you're not concerned about the hand thing, because I know that he's had, is it fair to say he's had some issues with his hands a little bit?
Well, we were out 14 months because he had a shattered knuckle here.
Yeah.
So we were out 14 months and that healed. And just making sure that he wraps his hands properly. I put 18-ounce gloves on him.
Okay.
In Winky's camp, he had 20-ounce gloves.
Wow. And so he actually fights in what?
In 47 he fights at 8.
Okay.
His last fight was in 10. That's why we want him at 47, because the gloves at 8 ounce.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Could you imagine this next fight, though?
Well, he's knocked 10 guys out in the first round. And 18 out of 19. I don't think there's a more exciting fighter out there right now.
Who would you like to see him?
Malignaggi.
Okay, I know,
We'd love
I
to get
know.
Malignaggi. You know, he runs his mouth a lot. And, you know, it'd be a great fight. It'd be like an Ali Frazier fight.
Yeah, I thought I heard Guerrero say something about Keith.
I didn't hear that. I did read on one website that Guerrero should fight Thurman, and then
Mayweather.
Then if he gets by Thurman, which he wouldn't,
No.
then Mayweather.
Correct.
That would set us up for Mayweather.
Exactly. I was going to say that might work to his.
But knowing Golden Boy Promotions, we got Cinco de Mayo coming up with the Mexican chief, and Mayweather, who outsells everybody. That would be a perfect matchup.
Where are we thinking in 2013 for that next one?
We'll just see, you know, HBO is the real promoter, and they'll determine who they want to see Keith in there. Then they'll run it by Al Heyman, and Al Heyman will run it by us, and together collectively we'll make the right decision.
But the timing has been around, let's see, like every 3 to 4 months right now. He's been fighting. You want to kind of keep it on that pace, or slow it down a little bit.
He had 4 tough training camps.
Yeah.
I think at this stage, 3 tough training camps would be fine. That way he'd get that extra rest in between.
Sure. So now you done with him for the rest of the year?
Oh yeah, he gets to be a normal human being.
Uh-oh, okay. So it's okay, took the leash off and running free.
Oh, he's a smart guy, very disciplined. He lives his life right. I'm not worried. Saw his dad. His
dad was a wrestler, correct?
His dad wrestled, and he also did some boxing.
Okay.
And he's got wide shoulders. I mean, Keith gets his genetics from his father.
And Keith actually played football and was it baseball also?
Keith is the kind of guy that if he wants to be good in something, he'll be good. He picked up the guitar in less than a year. He's just shredding it. I couldn't believe it. I could talk ping pong, pool, running, basketball, you name it. If he wants to do something, he can be very good at it. It just so happens he's a fighter.
Are you disappointed? Let me rephrase that. Would you like to see him at some point further his education?
Well, I think he's a self-educated guy. When you sit down and talk to him, you would be amazed how deep. And I don't care what the subject is. You want to talk about Buddhism, you want to talk about Christianity, any of the religions, politics, sports. He reads a lot. He rarely watches TV. He's always in a book. So he's self-educated. You don't have to go to school to get an education.
I kind of knew you were going to say that. You know how sometimes you ask it, and I know that from doing my research on Keith, from speaking with him on the phone.
Yeah.
You can tell when you're talking with a person of depth or a person that's pretty shallow, and he comes off as it. That's why I'm very excited to speak with him. But you know, I asked you the question because you know the value still. We can do all the study and books that we want, but there's still some value behind a great education and having that, you know, of you. And I just wondered whether you wanted that for him or future, or don't see it as being necessary with a person of Keith's caliber.
Well, I feel that Keith is going to become very wealthy in boxing, and all he really needs is a good accountant, and he's got one.
Enough said.
But if he wants to further his education, I mean, he can do it, you know, through schooling or keep doing that.
I have to just revisit the Berto Guerrero thing. We talked a little bit on the phone about that. It was very unfortunate. I did an in-depth interview and article on the Beast. I had picked him, not because we did the interview, but I had picked him in the fight.
Yeah.
I was totally shocked.
I picked him also. You know, I've known Mike. We call him Mike. I don't even know his arm. I know his Mike from way back. But, you know, he's so strong. He's so gifted physically. But he needs to be taught things like distance and timing. and setting up his attack. Even learning how to tie up properly, because he was tying up with one arm.
Yeah.
And he got dropped,
Yeah.
you know, from Guerrero.
Because he couldn't get out, he couldn't defend himself.
The referee came in our dressing room, and I'm sure they did the same thing in their dressing rooms and told us, if you have one arm free, punch. And that's what Guerrero was doing.
Do you feel like Moret or Moret, however it's pronounced, I was not impressed with him honestly as a officiator in the ring, as the ref.
Yeah.
From round one, he allowed Guerrero to hold and beat down.
Yeah.
It was just clear, and I thought that he should have established something then. Not that I mean it was. There's nothing you can do if Berto's not gonna protect himself. But what do you think about that?
Well, if one arm is free, it's not considered a clinch.
Okay.
So if one arm is free, you get to work with that one arm. And that's what the referee, our referee, explained to us. And that's something, I guess, maybe, you know, that they allow more in California maybe than other places. But for me, there was a lot of excessive holding.
Yeah, the rabbit punching.
Yeah, the rabbit punching, you know, and there's other things that they let go. But I mean, a fight is a fight. I mean, and Berto could have done the same thing that Guerrero did.
True. Berto looked good on the outside. You know, when I was at his training camp. Six pack.
Yes.
Everything's tight.
Yes.
Outside, but what happened inside the ring didn't match. So you can be that proves you can be in the greatest shape you want, but if the mechanics and the execution is not there, the game plan correct, it's not going down.
I don't feel he was prepared for that fight. It didn't look like he was prepared properly for that fight. Whereas my guy was prepared. I made sure that my guy was going to be prepared for that fight.
Right.
Otherwise, we wouldn't fight.
Well, after Berto dropped 3 rounds, he had catch-up to play.
Yes.
I didn't have it, you know, they had it 116, 110 all the way around. It was so devastating.
Yes, yes.
But he fought a heck of a middle of the fight.
Well, don't forget the knockdowns cost him, you know, 2
big
points
time,
and
yeah.
set him way behind. So I had it about the same as the judges.
Yeah. Here's a question for you. As Keith comes up into 2013 to prepare for what is probably going to be a big fight coming up.
Yes.
Would you ask Berto to come into camp to spar, or would that be a slap in the face?
We've asked. We've asked in the past. Ben used to call him, hey, come on. But, you know, they view Keith as a threat. And maybe a little too dangerous as maybe a sparring partner. So, you know, we just let it go at that.
So that, not revisiting that,
No.
trying that again. Are you working with any other new fighters right now?
Well, I have a heavyweight, Lenroy Thomas, at 16-2, and Al Heyman has promised me to fight in late December or shortly after.
So are you working with him here?
Yes.
Okay. When are you going to be in the gym with him again?
Tomorrow.
Oh, darn. Okay, well, hopefully, Dan, you will allow me back into the inner sanctum here.
Sure.
Again, we're at St. Pete Boxing Club. I am with Dan Birmingham, the man with the plan. Look out for him in 2013 with Lenroy Thomas, and most prominently with Keith Thurman. I am Sonee Thompson with Sonee's Florida Sports Report. We'll see you soon. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.